All right, everyone, so I actually made some videos since the first one I just posted, and apparently they were recorded all wrong. So I'm going to I'm going to get you up to speed in terms of some of the work that I've done. So this sequence is the preliminary sequence. I might revert it back to having the songs kind of put out chronologically the way they were first released. Actually, 4 of these songs, or 5 of them, were released. Sorry, the first demo was 3, then there was an extended demo with 4 or 5 songs, I want to say. Then there's 2 more released after that. So that's how you have 7 tracks here. No, 8 tracks. So that's going to get released here. Now, a couple things that we've done. We've done some gain staging. We saw that some of these were, for example, way over the top. So I wonder what the loudest part of this is. So let's just pick this part here. So some of these had to be gain staged downwards a bit. So, yep. So that happened because this was clipping clear as day. So they were imported probably incorrectly. Not by my end in a way, but from a previous session file. And then discovered an issue where, I think the original intent was audience perspective, and there's been an artistic decision made to actually have it band perspective. So you're with the band, you're in the mix, so to speak, versus listening to them. So panning had to get swapped, right? You don't see that here. Everything's properly panned, but literally reversing the left file and putting it in the right channel, and the right channel file in the left channel. So that happened here. That was an artistic decision, not the original intent, but of the demos. They wanted it to be audience perspectives, but that's not the way it happened, right? They want you to be with the band. And then, so that happened. That wasn't something discovered until later. Again, a lot of this stuff was recorded on 4-track or 8-track cassette. And some of it was just panned basically down the middle, mainly mono, guitar maybe slightly left, and then bass slightly right, or vice versa. The drums maybe were slightly panned a certain way. So there's that. The 8-track stuff, it's a little, that was recorded on 8-track. There's 2 tracks on here that were recorded on an 8-track. Maybe there's 3. I think there's 2 actually. And then those tracks were actually done a little bit better because you had 8 channels. Granted, you sacrificed audio quality because you're dealing with analog cassette tape. So, tape like, yay thin, thinner than my finger. And you're squeezing 8 channels instead of 4, so you're going to lose resolution. You might have some bleed through, but able to make more creative decisions with panning. So we did that. If you notice here, there's kind of a theme in terms of the order of the plugins that are here. You might have some noise correction. Wait, so you had to clean up some things. Then you're going to have either a compressor or an EQ. So there's been decisions made on how to do that. So let's just take a quick look here on some of the other things that we've done. If we take a look at this, in the first video also we added ozone. So we might tweak this a little bit. We've added some stereo imaging stuff here. We can kind of do before and after. So let's just go here for a moment. Linear phase multiband, that's going to be more cleaner. It's a multiband compressor, but it's linear phase, so you don't really deal with any of the phase smearing from their stuff. I don't think we're going to need it here. I'm not sure why I picked the AMEC again. As you're going to see in some of the other tracks, I ended up mastering compressor. So I ended up working with this, but some of the other choices I made wasn't always linear band EQ. I may have used the Dangerous from Millennia, and then for the compressor I may have used something else. Usually if I'm compressing anything, it's going to be the low end on the multi-band. I don't really want to compress any other stuff. Multi-band compressors are a little dangerous in that regard. You have to kind of know what you're doing. And you're going to have instruments that overlap with each other frequency-wise. So for example, I could have a snare, and if I'm using a multi-band compressor, it's, that the smack of the snare might be affected if I have to EQ something, or rather put multi-band compression on a frequency range that overlaps that snare. Now that is if that's what you want. There's a track here where the snare pokes out a little too much. I actually might want a little bit of gentle compression, very mild multi-band compression on a wide frequency range, or wider-ish frequency range that deals more with the snare. So we've done this here, this song here in particular.
That's what I like to drink.
Song. So some of it's what's going on here because you have some elements pan too far to the right or to the left. We ended up having to get creative. So this actually might go back and fix a little bit. In some cases, if I want to, let's say the guitar's panned a little too much to the right, because again we're dealing with 4 tracks, sometimes 8. That song we just listened to had 8. What's going to happen there is if there's not enough left channel information on the guitar, so let's say it's panned not just slightly to the right, maybe a little bit more to the right than we thought. If I try to increase to bump the EQ in that frequency range on the left channel, it's just sometimes just not really there. So at that point, what do you do? So do you use something like the PS22 spreader from Waves Audio? I don't know, because that creates other issues. And is the cure worse than the disease, so to speak? And you can't do that when you're mastering, right? There's only so much you can do. You can only kick it up a notch or two. So now let's take a look at this one here. Kirchhoff EQ. Is that just the left channel? I guess just the left, I don't know. So that's more, I remember now. So this is more for like vibe, for color. Enhances it a bit. So if we just go here to the middle. I think the guitars. It does something. It's kind of nice. It's better than the way it was before. Now we're doing kind of primary stage stuff, right? So we're kind of doing, this is like the first half, we're fixing problems is what we're doing. The EQ was, these tracks were not, let's say, to put it nicely, they were not EQ'd well. That's actually probably being very nice about it. So we're just trying to get it somewhere in a more acceptable range of EQ. This one has a number of issues. This one needs to be EQ'd. What happened to the EQ on here? I could have swore there's an EQ. We also have issues with overcompression. So this particular track, which is the first track in the original demo set that was released, overcompressed. You can already hear the tape compression. The tape compression is baked in. So we use an upward expander. Instead of compressing downward, right? We're actually trying to give it more dynamic range. So let's go here. So this is meant to act as an upward expander. now there's going to be other things that we're going to do later down the road, but we're not going to worry about this for now. All right, so let's just go here. Now we're going to go to this one. See, I'm still hearing stuff. That's right, I did it on here. So, okay, I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole just yet. This one here. This one has been the most highest number of challenges. One of the biggest challenges. Phase issues based on frequencies. More than 12 something ahead, listen to this even headphones. The money yet, it's coming to the rescue guys. Let's fix the whole problem. Alright, we're going to go here. So this we had noise, cancellation added, multiband limiter for the bass. Without the 2 mode on, the snare just pops way out if I put it in FET mode. So in the tube mode, just kind of going through it, not really doing anything. Where is this coming from? Let's find out here. Sounds like it's more. So here I can already hear stuff I need to work on, right? So what's going on here with this, with the dangerous? Putting out the bass, so it doesn't actually need it. Kind of on the throaty side of things, so we're actually going to bump this here, wind the Q slightly. In that range is where I want to enhance the guitar on the left side. Okay, so that guitar, there's some left channel content there, so that guitar's take care of there. Let's go over here. This required a number of well, there's a number of things we have to fix here, but we wanted to glue the low end better, so we added this. Sounds wimpy. It's just a little too whatever. It's wimpy. Dynamic range is kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just got more than I would like for it to have. Now this glues the low end a little bit better. So I've used this before in other projects, mastering projects. It's a kind of an unusual or unorthodox choice, but I'll prefer it because it does something to the low end in terms of how it glues it together. I like it better than a not typically, but there's going to be instances where I prefer it over a linear multi-band compressor with everything bypassed and just the low end being compressed. So I just like it, and it does it just about right. So, and then Dangerous here, this track without any processing sounds. All bass, right? What did I change on this? this is an MS mode, as we can see here. This is also an MS mode. We probably need, or this should not be an MS mode. So, number of issues that we fixed. So now let's go back. So there's going to be primary EQ correction. We might add a little bit of compression. What we might do is to regain some of that lost dynamic range. Also with cassette tape, you're dealing with way less dynamic range compared to, say, CD, which is 16-bit. Now it just seems like the standard is 24-bit. Look, 20 years ago, we were doing stuff maybe still at 44.1. More than 20 years ago, still at 44.1, but we were doing bit depth at 24, right? 48, some people were doing for broadcast. There's some people who feel like 48 just doesn't quite work for whatever reason in terms of vibe. I'm not going to get into that debate. So we weren't using 96 yet. So a lot of people, whoops, of course this goes off, right? Okay, it's like it's a silver alert, but anyhow. So we got the main cleanup work, that's going to include some EQ, and then now we're going to try to balance everything together so it's more cohesive and consistent. So if someone's listening to this on Spotify or Apple, it'll be, they're not going to have to adjust the EQ as much. So we've also got this guy going on here as well. Try to simulate a listening environment. Obviously, best listening environment out there, right? Everyone knows it's their car, but you want to kind of make this work in a variety of environments. You're going to want your Apple AirPods, your car stereo. You're going to want it to go through your laptop speakers. You're going to want to actually play it back on here, right? So on your phone or your smartphone. So I also have these for this reason. These actually tend to accentuate bass, by the way. This is what I've noticed. So if you can get the bass to be present but not boomy, like still audible but not boomy on these, you're probably doing something right. You do want a little bit that, not warmth, but that bottom end, that boominess, but it's got to be subtle. It's got to be more defined, But of course, that's if you're mixing, and we don't have the way to do that in mastering. So let's go back here. Let's listen to everything one more time. So we're just now doing a run through, because then we're going to probably add another EQ to everything, right? We're going to add a compressor after any upward compression. The upward compression attack time is going to be faster than the downward compressor, right? Attack time. So this is going to spike up the transient maybe a little bit, and we're actually going to manually do that with fader moves too. So it's going to spike it up a little bit. It's also going to compress, right? Some of that. Right, on the songs that make sense, not some of them where there's just way too much tape saturation because we're just driving the tape like crazy. So if it's almost like a brick wall, so to speak, right, we're going to, with an upward compressor, increase this, and with a downward compressor we decrease this slightly, so it's more manageable and the stuff just pokes out, and now we have more dynamic range. It's more of a livelier mix, and it's going to make it sound like we're restoring lost transients, right? So this seems all right for now. I might boost the bass later. sounds like it's on the right side now with this modeling environment. Let's make sure that's still not the case here with headphones. So here we have this problem again where we need to actually flip around the left and the right channel. So we're going to do that. Make active, here we go. So I'm just going to do something here. All right, so now we're going to just copy and paste everything up here. Make these three disappear. Okay. So we don't have to change anything here because this is an MS, right? Now I hear something immediately we got to fix. So I don't want to get surgical with the dangerous back EQ or the millennia. I'm going to get surgical with the millennia. What do I do first? Let's work with the millennia first. See what we can do before we're engaging. So I want to get surgical first and then broad in this case. Unlike in mixing, you want to kind of start off broad and then maybe get surgical, so to speak, with EQ. In this case, we have to kind of do it the other way around because of the issues these mixes have. And the reason you're like, well, why not mix into the dangerous back EQ? Because it's going to change it altogether. It's like the, dog chasing its tail. So let's get it as close as we can with this and see if we have to even use a second EQ processor. Now we can minimize processing. Actually, there's a saying, let's talk maximum illusion with minimum voltage. And overprocessed mixes don't sound as wide as open. They don't have as much kind of meat to them. so there's some things that are just a bit more on the right that I would want to.
Looking for food to rest. How I feel. Down you down when you get your way. Down you down when how I feel. Down.
Why am I? So I just realized I have this all backwards now. All good though. We don't need any of this here because they were imported from another project. And they shouldn't have been on the other project to begin with. What does? Interesting. I want to see what this is. Yep, so we've taken care of that already. As you can see here, one of these songs we added a some reverb on here towards the end, but let me actually go over that here. Here. And for that, I use something like Valhalla Vintage Reverb. I tried an accomplish reverb, but didn't quite work. So, more modern sounding. I wanted an 80s versus a now sound. Could probably make this a little longer, but I'm not worried about that. Making coarse decisions on certain parts. You have to know when to make coarse decisions and not so coarse decisions, right? So let's go back here. So what's going on with the backseat cue then? So the guitar seems a little bit on the left side. It's not bad. It's more in the center than compared to other tracks, or closer to the center compared to other tracks. So here we're going to want to, again, kind of go to the mid-range of that guitar in about 1.3-ish, I want to say area 1.1-ish, but I don't want to do it too much, I think. And then I'm going to narrow the cue slightly, and this will be on the left side.
Boy,
here where we can do a little bit of primary correction, but let's fix the main stuff first, right? And then later, if we can, we're going to do the more global correction on things, right? Let's go to this one.
Love to hate, like blood to tears. You love but hate, you love but kill. Does your soul rest? 'Cause I heard you sorry. I know your hate kills. Has it killed you yet? Inside I know you died. Rage doesn't hear you cry. Hate in your heart, taking precious life. If you love, would you let me live?
Not much really. It's more enhancement in this case. This song is going to present issues. So immediately we can hear there's way too much mid-range for this song. So now the question is going to be, what do we want to use to kind of keep that a little bit closer to where we want to be, because basically everything is going to get a second EQ on it, essentially, and maybe even a compressor afterwards, right? So what do we want to add to this? Way too much mid-range. So we could use our friend the Millennia EQ. And we're going to link these stereo. We don't need mid-side because there's not a lot of mid-side content. These are mainly mono mixes that we've enhanced to make it sound like it's more stereo. So again, in that 1.3 range is where we tend to do well, maybe a little bit higher, because this does sound a little bit on the higher end. And then I think we need a much wider Q, and then let's dip it about a dB. Two brings it forward, or brings it back. This brings it forward. I'm just going to see something here. Stereo room, probably not the best idea. Do I not have it anymore? I think it went out. I think they discontinued it. I had a plug-in, which I can trick it to make it sound like it's more in the back of my head. Like, not in my head and in the back, but I mean like outside of me and kind of behind me. And Eventide made it, and heck, they discontinued it. That's what I thought. I had it for a while, and it's no more. I'm just going to double check their website. It says it's still around. I may not have the subscription anymore. Yeah, it's fine. And those symbols are oppressive. And then that piece actually go down one more. That's a little trick too. You can boost the low end a little bit. And it's, right? Again, everything's like a seesaw. You boost the low end a little bit, and then everything else is relative, right? So it seems like you kind of naturally just cut out a little bit of the mid and the highs. In this case, we had to boost a little bit. The highs are a bit oppressive on that end, but. So here, we have all this bass here. case, we're going to want to compress this a little bit. So what was going on my mind with these things? This I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board. But anyhow, that's almost an hour. We're going to stop for a moment, take a break.